No laughing matter. This is Cactus Wrestling.
Welcome back to Cactus Wrestling. It is the World Championships this
Let's go.
weekend. Let's
USA.
go,
USA.
USA, USA. Before we get into it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 1,000 subscribers, hopefully by the end of this calendar year. So if you like
For
anything
sure.
wrestling, yeah, backwards, yeah. If you like
What's
anything
it?
wrestling, uh, this is the channel for you. We're going to talk about this year's World Championships for the men's division in this video. So let's dive right in. Going into 57 kilos for Team USA, Zane Richards. Okay. Well, he beat Thomas Gilman, who's the reigning silver medalist.
Yeah, that's his creme de la creme win right there, and he did it two in a row, which was even more shocking when we watched it live at Final X. But
But is that good for Team USA going into
no,
this?
no,
Uh,
no, not at all. Especially like no.
hopefully he proves us wrong.
I, I'm
I
very
don't.
skeptical of his performance.
I think I'm gonna ride the Zane train.
Are you?
I mean, there's
Let's
two.
see. I'm gonna ride the Zane Richards train and the Zane Rutherford train. But Zane Richards, I didn't pick him to win the U.S. Open at all.
I
I
don't think
was like,
anyone picked him besides himself.
and then at Final X, I was like, this guy, what a bad day to be Zane Richards. I mean, you're gonna get teched twice by Thomas Gilman. That didn't happen.
Yeah, but then he didn't do that great at Pan Am's, I don't
But
think.
I don't care about Pan Am's because I'm an American. All I care about is worlds.
Okay.
It's interesting too because you have fellow Americans competing for other countries. Darian Cruz is on Team
Yeah.
Puerto Rico. He got the 4 seed, and Stefan Micic for Team Serbia is the 6 seed.
Yep. Yep. I
So
mean,
Zane,
Micic's also a returning world bronze medalist.
that's true. So Richards is going to have to beat some guys he's probably clashed with in the past from just collegiate days. Um, Even if they hadn't wrestled in college together, the wrestling world is very small. Now you're at the world stage. You add in the reigning champion at this weight class, Abakarov. Uh, just disclaimer: our pronunciations are going to be bad for the international wrestlers. We can't even get the USA wrestlers right, so apologies in advance. But the Albanian is the reigning gold champion, so it's going to be tough tournament for Zane Richards. I think pulling for him, but it's going to be a tough one.
Oh wait, I may have misspoke. I don't think Richards wrestled at Pan Am, so
That's why he's undefeated.
yeah, never mind. Um, but I mean, also the returning Olympic champ Uguev is also unseated in this weight class, so that's a landmine. Whoever gets him, that sucks to be them to get him right in the first round. I think the one positive, it's unlikely that Richards will get a Goov in the first round. He'll probably get one of the seeded guys, or maybe someone else that's unseeded. But I, I mean, I would almost like to see Richards match up with like someone like Darian Cruz.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I would
I
love
feel
that.
like that would actually be a great matchup for him because I think he could probably knock off Darian Cruz. But I mean, I don't know how well he would do against some of these other guys.
Yeah, especially with Darian Cruz, he was like the funk master, so you can't really do that in freestyle.
Beat Thomas Gilman. And Cruz and Zane Richards have that in common. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
with Ugaev being an unseeded guy, it, again, just reminds me like if it was UWW or IOC or whoever it did, it's like, we're not going to let those pesky Russians and, Belarus athletes in. And they're like, okay, we are going to let them in. Maybe we're not going to let them in. Okay, but they'll in, but they won't be seated. Okay, but maybe we'll just find out on the Friday before who's allowed to go and who's not. Like it's just the seating means nothing to me in these events. In the senior men's worlds this year means nothing to me. because they have guys that are the Olympic champions and multi-time world champions that'll be like, he's unseated because he's Russian. What?
Yes.
And it goes, well, who's the 4 seed? Oh, remember Darian Cruz? I mean, he won NCAA's that year. What?
Yeah, it's amazing that Darian Cruz can get the 4 seed and Michik's the returning world bronze medalist, and he's 2 seeds below that.
It's because Michik never won an NCAA title.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep, Worlds puts true. They put a lot of weight on the 2017 NCAA season.
Clearly.
Let's go back 6 years ago. Where were these guys 6 years ago? That's the criteria for this
So
year.
how do you guys see Richards doing? Do you think he makes the podium?
I do not.
I think it's possible, but he's got I think a rough road. I think at best bronze, but I feel like he's even going to fall short of that.
I'm pulling for him though.
Yeah, I would love to see him make me eat my words. I'd love to see that, but I don't see it happening.
I think this is gonna be a really tough one. I think Richards has had a crazy train so far. Winning the U.S. Open, winning Final X with a sweep. But everyone was like, oh, Thomas Gilman was like our guy that probably would have done well at the Worlds, and no one's really given Zane the benefit of the doubt. I hope I'm wrong. I would love to be like, I don't see him making the podium, and then he makes it. But when you have an unseeded guy that's an Olympic champion also out there, and then there's there's world champions that are the 2 seed. It's just
hopefully they're on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah, due to the repechage system, he could lose to a really talented guy who also gets knocked off and doesn't get to wrestle back.
Yeah, could you imagine he gets a Guv in the first round and a Guv loses to a Baccaroff in the semis? So that means he's just out.
Yeah.
like
that's what I'm saying. Like he could lose to the guys that would end up, possibly being in the finals together, and they could be like, "Oh, it sucks. Bad luck for you, bud."
Yeah.
So I don't like the repechage system. I feel like I've been saying this for a long time. I could see Richards. I'm gonna go with he probably doesn't make the podium this year, but he's gonna build off of it really well for next year.
Do you think Gilman's not reclaiming his spot next year?
I don't think Gilman can hold the weight.
1 year.
I think Thomas can't hold the weight.
You don't think so?
He's been holding 125 for so long, and there were talks with him going 61 for a little bit just to allow himself the time off from holding 125 or 57 kilo, 125 pounds. Right. Thomas Gilman has gotten older, and anyone that's getting older knows you don't cut weight as well. It's tougher to keep it off.
Well, he can't go 61 next year.
No.
And going 65 would be just ludicrous.
I don't know what's going to happen with. I could imagine Gilman making a push back to 57. Watching him wrestle, I feel like Richards was not as good as him at his best. Gilman looked like super, and you guys had a front row view of it.
Yeah.
He looked exhausted. He looked like, oh man, he cut weight.
Yeah, it was not the Gilman I was used to seeing.
No.
Yeah, and I remember you guys saying, first match, okay, he just maybe had a bad weight cut and he'll feel better in the second one. But he looked just as poor in the second.
Yeah, he looked awful.
This wasn't the guy that was. This didn't look like the guy that was a 2020, really 2021 Olympic bronze medalist.
Yep.
2021 world silver, 22 world silver. This is he was a world champ only a few years back. I mean, he might have won gold in 21. I don't remember actually. But again, my point is that he didn't look like the high flying Thomas Gilman, high paced, I'm gonna go after you kind of guy. He looked exhausted, and I really think he's just having a hard time maintaining the weight for so long.
The only solution is 24-hour weigh-ins.
That's what we've been saying.
Isn't that what they're doing at the Worlds?
No.
No, okay.
Worlds. So Worlds, for this example, they're weighing in Saturday morning at 8 a.m. and then they're gonna start wrestling at 10:30. But anybody that wrestles knows that a 10:30 start time usually means 11.
Yeah,
But
they never start on time.
never do.
Well, here's to Zane Richards. Hopefully he can upset us all again.
Oh
So
yeah.
61 kilos, Vito Arujau for Team USA. I feel a little bit better about his chances, even though he is also unseeded. But like we've been saying, these seeds really don't mean much. Vito's just been. I mean, if you ever watch the guy wrestle, I mean, he's just at the
Oh,
top of this game right now. Very, very talented, very slick, super quick. I think the match he had against RBY was like it blew people's minds.
Yeah, that was wild.
And I only see him continuing to bring that level of intensity to the world stage.
The world ain't ready for Vito Arujau. His father already won a world.
that's what I was gonna say. I mean, he's coming from some incredible like stock. His father knows how to win world titles.
Yeah.
Vito is so fast. I think of like the Lightning McQueen, like I am speed, and he's like ka-chow. That's what I think of for Vito. He's just. I was amazed how he made RBY, who's like known as like a quick wrestler, look like he was stuck in sand.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of guys are not going to be ready for this pace.
Well, yeah. Not only that, I mean, he also made Dayton Fix like he
Yeah.
featured him, like right, like it was
Yeah.
like he Dayton Fix has always had like close matches with everyone, and then out of nowhere, Vito just goes thwomp, like. So yeah, I don't think the world stage is ready for Vito. I think Vito's about to make a lot of noise as an unseeded guy in this bracket, and I mean he's got some solid guys. I mean, world bronze medalist, world silver medalist, bunch of Euro champ bronze. So
I can't wait to see him next year going down to 57 for the Olympic spot.
oh,
That might be a bad idea though, because we all saw him
Yeah.
before this year when he went up to 133 in college. Everyone was just like, "Yeah, he's good."
He's not great. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, he's all right. He could all American.
Yeah.
He might go
goes up
65.
one weight class.
I feel like 65 is just so much tougher than 61. Like that's a huge jump in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Well,
we'll
luckily for
see.
him, he doesn't
Yeah.
have to worry about that for right now. 61
Yeah.
kilos is for the taking.
I have Vito making the podium.
I
Definitely.
have Vito going for gold.
Wow.
I have him in the finals for sure.
Woo.
Wow.
Bold take.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
Oh yeah.
How about Nick Lee at 65 kilos for Team USA? He took out Yanni, who I think everyone was kind of hoping Yanni would be the guy.
Well, yeah, returning what was it, world silver?
Yeah.
Yeah, similar situation as 57 kilos with Gilman. Nick Lee takes that spot. He's got big shoes to fill. Can he do it?
I'm a lot less confident in Nick Lee's ability to repeat what Yanni did last year. I feel like he'll probably be right there in the mix for like a bronze medal, or making it to the bronze medal match. I don't think he's going to be in contention for the title.
That, of course, will go to Sebastian Rivera.
Yeah, the 2 seed.
Goes, come
Puerto
on.
Rico.
Pan
Two-time
Am
NCAA.
bronze this year.
He was a two-time NCAA bronze, third place.
Yeah.
Put some respect to my man.
But you also have the reigning world champion.
Small potatoes.
Well, and Bajrang's in that weight class.
Yeah, I kind of feel like I thought he was gonna be like this, make a huge jump, but I feel like Bajrang hasn't like not faded, but like he's like, yeah, he's really good, but like he's never.
He took bronze at the Worlds
exactly.
last year.
But he's plateaued. He's been bronze for a long time.
Oh, that's kind of like Frank Chimizo at
yeah, exactly.
74.
Frank Camiso, the
Chimizo,
Puerto Rican wrestling for Italy that trains in America. He's just the world traveler.
Frank Camisa, Danbury wrestling legend.
Bridgewater State coach.
But I'm gonna go with the outside. I'm gonna say Lee makes the podium, and this could be my Penn State bias, but anyone that sweeps Yanni, controversial match or not, probably is gonna do well on the world stage.
It's
Um,
funny though because Bo Bartlett
might have beaten
barely
Nick Lee,
like yeah, well it was like 11-10 and it was like a controversial finish.
but as
Like
we
Nick
saw, Bo was took third at NCAA's, and that would have earned him the 2 seed.
That's true. If Bo Bartlett, yeah, just like Sebastian Rivera, we
Exactly.
all know how the world loves to seed NCAA championships for 2018. Well, let's go Nick Lee. Hopefully he can do Yanni proud. I know
Hope so.
I
it's gonna
mean,
be
ideally, but
it's gonna be a tough task, but
for
hey,
sure.
I wouldn't put it past him. Moving up to 70 kilos, the other Zane train, Zane Rutherford, for Team USA has the 2 seed. And this could be Zane's year. I think, you know, have Tyler Berger in the audience just kind of rile him up a little bit.
Have
Um,
Tyler Berger headbutt him in the face before his first match.
I've never seen Zane. I don't think I've ever seen a human move in response to something like that. I mean, that was unbelievable. Him against Tyler Berger, literally like taped across the entire head.
I
Um,
mean, he probably couldn't see a thing for the rest of that match and the next one.
I
yeah,
feel like
but
Zane's constantly bleeding.
he
Yeah.
he's he's the returning silver medalist, and we were just talking about this off camera. We one of the mics. You go ahead.
Mike, you know it better than I do, so
I
go.
don't remember his name entirely, but
Oh, his name is Taishi Narakuni.
so in the weirdest turn of events, he decided he didn't want to do freestyle anymore, and he's doing Greco after winning a world title last year, beating Zayn in the finals.
That is the definition of just
What?
leaving while you're on top.
Yeah, so I have no idea what
Yeah,
happened with that. He, for all I know, he could be wrestling Greco at this Worlds at 70 kilos or whatever the Greco weight is. Um, I have no idea if that's true or not, but yeah, he's not registered because he's no longer a freestyle wrestler.
that's just wild to think. Like, yeah, I won the world. Do I want to do it again? In Greco.
Yeah, and then next year he's gonna join judo or something.
Yeah, he's gonna be like, move on to another sport.
I'm gonna beat Michael Phelps's records.
But what do you guys think of Zane's chances this year?
I mean, he's got to be the odds-on favorite.
This is the year for Zayn. I think there's no one that should be able to stop him. I really feel that. I feel like, excuse me, I was just eating some tacos. Even last year, he had, he was steamrolling up until he got to the finals. Um, I think that he's going to be really good. I
Right.
love Zayn. I think this is what he's been working for this whole time, was this opportunity. And I can't see him squandering this moment where he might not be the 1 seed, but he's probably the favorite.
I'd
I
say
mean,
that's fair.
yeah, I think he's got to be the favorite. The one guy that could ruin it all would be from Kyrgyzstan, Akhmataliev. He's last year's world bronze medalist who lost an 11-10 match to Narakuni. And then the year before that, he was world silver. So, like, he's going to be probably ready with the kitchen sink to throw at Zane and maybe do what Tyler Berger couldn't. But yeah, I mean that's the guy to beat for Zane. Like, if he can win that, he'll get the gold. I think he's gonna be in the finals regardless. Looking at like last year's results, Zane got teched by Narakuni, and Narakuni beat that guy 11-10. I
I
mean,
think the
maybe
big
it's a
thing
weird
that's
Pokemon triangle where Zane can now tech this guy, but
I think the big thing that's changed is the addition of a wrestler with 74 kilos to the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club. Um, Zane getting the chance to train with Kyle Dake for the last year probably helped elevate him, I would imagine, enough
would hope.
that, yeah, you would hope. I mean, he looked really good. Zane looks great. And I think training with Kyle and the other guys in the NLWC, but especially the addition of Kyle Dake, just one weight class above him as a multi-time world champion is going to really help. I hope and I imagine will help continue to push him in the right direction towards that top spot of the podium.
Ideally.
This is his year, the Zane train.
Yeah.
I mean, I think worst case scenarios, he takes silver.
Yeah, all in all, good stuff for Team USA at 70 kilos. 74 kilos, Kyle Dake. He's got to be the returning favorite, even though he also has the 2 seed.
Classic.
He might run into some trouble against Matt Feinsilver, the 6 seed. Joking.
If Feinsilver knocks off Salkinov.
Yeah.
I just remember Feinsilver, like we were watching it, I think, just texting Iran or Iraq had a match against Feinsilver, and they're just like, oh yeah, we're not wrestling him because he represents Israel, and they just forfeited it out. And I was like,
oh no, that was Yazdani's brother.
Yeah, that was the young Yazdan. Oh,
yeah.
So it was. Yeah, okay. So you're like, what?
Yeah, so Feinsilver won because Yazdani refused to wrestle him.
Yeah. And I believe Yazdani was the much better wrestler too.
Yeah, I think had he actually wrestled the match, he would have won it.
Yeah, so it only hurt their team.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Bizarre.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, this is a fairly deep weight class. I mean, the 1 seed, he took Olympic bronze in 2016. He's 2-time world bronze medalist. You got Salkinov last year, and the year before, he's 2-time world silver medalist. I mean, and then you got your real wild cards, the 2 guys that are unseeded, one of which who's beaten Dake. I believe he's in the weight class. Kadzmihad Medou of Belarus. I'm pretty sure he was listed, right? I thought he was listed. If he was, I mean, he has a win over Dake. If he's not in there, Dake's still got to worry about Sidakov, who
Sidakov.
is the returning Olympic gold. Who, yeah, that'll be a tall task for him. I mean, if he can pull it off, this is as deep as this weight could probably get. If Kadzmihad and Sidakov are both in it, and then Dake comes out with the gold, like, talk about earning a gold medal. Yeah. That's going to be, blood, sweat, tears going through the gauntlet for sure.
I like to think Dake's grown a lot since that 2020 Olympic year, though, or 2020, 21, whatever you want to call it. Mm-hmm. I remember watching that super early in the morning from a New Jersey hotel room and texting with you guys. And I was like, I think Dake just looks gassed. And it was his first time to really, and it was like his first big competition making 74 kilo. And I think he's adjusted to the weight really well over the last 2 years. So I don't think his gassing is going to be necessarily an issue anymore. As one user pointed out, or one viewer pointed out a while ago, we said, like, Sidakov's never beaten Dake and Dake's never beaten Sidakov. And he's like, well, yeah, they haven't wrestled.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
With Sidakov being, part of the Russian Belarus little situation there, I'm still not sure he's going to be in. Out of all the wrestlers, I think Sidakov has the best chance of being cut day of, because of his military ties. So, they might allow some of the Russian and Belarus athletes back in, but they did say originally that, ones that had connections or affiliations to or prior military service would be out again. And Sidakov was a military world champion in 2018.
So, yeah. So if he's out, that definitely helps Dake's path, because he could get Sidakov first round. He could get him real early. Or if Sidakov's not even there, then it doesn't make a difference. Just like with Kadzmihad Medou of Belarus. If he's in Dake's path, maybe Dake will have a chip on his shoulder. If he's not even in the bracket, then no.
I think we can at least count on a medal from Dake, though.
I'd be shocked if he didn't get a medal.
I think this is going to be Dake's big year where he wins it all and like finally gets I won a bracket with Sidakov in it, because I don't know if he's done that yet. This is 2 guys that are really talented in this bracket outside of him. But besides that, like I don't think there's anyone too crazy in this bracket.
Yeah, I hope Sidakov can wrestle. I'd like to see Dake and Sidakov go at it. Just win or lose, I'd love to see the
Yeah.
matchup.
Yeah, this is the world's. You want to see the world's best wrestle
Yeah.
each other.
Yeah, yeah. Not just get the win the world title because the Olympic champ wasn't allowed to wrestle.
Well, 79 kilos. I think we're all going to be missing Jordan Burroughs this year. Chance Marsteller beat him fair and square at Final X to get the spot. He's the 4 seed. But when you look at the 1 seed, this is the guy that Marsteller has been teched
I
multiple
think
times,
twice. Yeah, I think
and
twice.
and and Burroughs has beaten the guy that's teched Marsteller.
Yeah, the guy's a two-time Nakoti of Iran. He's a two-time world silver medalist. Both of those losses came to Jordan Burroughs in the world finals. And both times that Marsteller, I think they were a year apart. I think it was either earlier this year or last year and the year before, where he wrestled Nakoti. He did not do well. He's yet to score a point against Nakoti. One of those matches 100% ended in attack. The other one, if it didn't end in attack, it was like whatever to 0. So, I mean, I think Marsteller's going to make it to the semifinals against Nakoti. And at worst, he should be able to pull off a bronze medal. Or maybe he's finally, put the magic together to score some points and knock off Nakoti. Maybe he'll talk with Jordan about how to how to beat him. Collaborate there to keep the gold with USA.
I would be shocked if Jordan wasn't in his ear helping him out for this. I don't see him being that petty.
You say that, but no,
He could be really salty about
yeah.
this.
I would say I'm a big Jordan Burroughs fan. What he's done for the sport, what he's done for American wrestling, especially. I could see him not being very happy about helping, but I could definitely see him helping. I don't think he's salty anymore. I think he was, licked his wounds that day and was like, whatever, I'm gonna just go 74 or 86 next year for the Olympics. And I'm gonna do whatever I
Last time
can
he
to help.
wrestled Taylor, wasn't it like 5-5? And
Yeah, I think it was 5-4. I think Taylor won by a point or something.
I think it was. I thought it was 5-5. He won on criteria,
That could have been. Like I said,
and I think all 5 points were like in the last 90 seconds.
I've
Oh,
pushed for him to go 86. I think he'd be a better shot at 86 kilo than 74 kilo.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
But I'm sure he is helping Marsteller. Chance has a very, very, very packed schedule. He's driving hours a day between practice for himself, coaching his club, stellar trained. He's always at these events still. A lot of guys, David Taylor, for example, who owns M2, um, he balances his wrestling for his club and his coaching. So like you won't always see him at like these events that M2 guys go to, but Chance Marsteller seems to be at a lot of events. That's not easy when you're trying to prepare yourself for your own worlds.
Well, I mean, that was why Kale himself retired, was because he was
Yeah,
like, I can't be half in both. I need to be either a
yeah.
full-time athlete or a full-time coach.
So I'm wondering if that's going to come to negatively impact him. I'm hoping not. I think Chance has a really tough time with this. Just the lack of being able to knock off those top guys is going to hold him back, I think. But I, my prediction is he wrestles in a bronze match and takes fifth.
Ooh.
I can see
I'm
that.
confident he's going to get that bronze. I mean, I'd love to see him knock off Nakoti here, but
Yeah,
I think he's going to get bronze.
hope so. It's going to be an interesting. I just like seeing Chance Marsteller redemption arc. How much he's been through in his comeback.
Yeah.
I think
No,
he's a
yeah,
great
it's
guy
great
for
to
the
see.
sport, and I think that if he doesn't, accomplish necessarily what he wants to accomplish this year, he's going to keep pushing for better and better.
Definitely. So as we go up to 86 kilos, David Taylor, of course, the 7 seed.
Rightful.
Makes sense. A little generous, maybe in his favor, actually.
Oh.
It just goes to show these seeds don't make any sense. A reigning Olympic gold champion, uh, reigning world champion, and he's the 7 seed.
And
So
the 2 seed won worlds in 17.
yeah,
That's
for everyone who says like the David Taylor Yazdani rivalry, it's pretty one sided when you actually look at the stats behind it.
I think it's like
Could
4 or 5 to 1 now, isn't it?
Yeah, I think something like that. I think it's
yeah,
4 or 5 to 1.
it would be interesting to see Miles Amin, who's wrestling for San Marino, took Olympic bronze. He's the 4 seed, so they probably wouldn't face unless they got to the finals.
Yeah. I mean, Amin and Yazdani will probably be a quarterfinals match, so
But
maybe Amin will knock off Yazdani.
Could be.
I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, I think
He's
everyone.
talented, but I don't know if he's that talented.
I mean, Olympic bronze medalist. I think people forget that. Like, this is a guy who he could go out for Team USA, but he's going for San Marino,
Yeah.
and I
Yeah,
mean,
but Yazdani is an Olympic gold and silver medalist.
All right, but how many NCAA titles does Yazdani have?
How many
Because
NCAA titles does Miles Amin have?
he has 3 bronze, and that's huge, as we know.
that's true. Yeah, they definitely reward
At 3 different
NCAA.
weight classes.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, this is the guy.
No. Maybe one of them. I think one of them was at
He had
silver.
2 different weights. He had 174, 174, 197, and I think he went down to 184 for his senior year when
Yeah, and he
when
got
he lost
silver.
to
Yeah,
Aaron Brooks.
got second. Yeah,
Yeah,
Big Ten champion though.
Big Ten champion.
that's all that
Yes,
counts.
Yeah, Yazdani
that's
has no Big Ten
yeah
championships,
0.
None. Who is this guy?
but I think David Taylor for the gold.
Yeah, Taylor again.
I'd like to see, round 5 or 6 or whatever it is between Yazdani and Taylor. Like, I like how everyone hypes it up. So it should be a fun match. I mean, wasn't the last matchup like 6 to 1?
Yeah, this I remember. So I was watching this match in upstate Maine, in the passenger seat, driving to a wedding for my friend with like 6 other guys and their wives. We're just like loaded up into the Suburban, and I'm like watching on my phone, and they're like, what's Mike doing?" He goes, "Oh, he's just watching like the World Championship for wrestling or something. It's not a big deal." And I was like,
The
"Yeah,
important
David
thing.
Taylor," and
Oh,
David Taylor.
7 to 1. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was watching. It was like buffering. Um, I was in again the woods of Maine, and I'm like, "Oh no, what happened?" And then like all it shows is like eventually it cuts back minutes later, and David Taylor's running around the mat with the flag. So I missed almost the whole match. But I'm like, "Yeah, baby, USA!" And like the rest of the car was like, the rest of the car started chanting like USA, and I was like, "You guys don't even watch the match." And I go, "Well, you
You
didn't
don't
either."
even know what happened.
But
I love that you can recall that you watched it, but also you knew what you were doing when you were
yeah,
watching it. That's
oh yeah,
great.
it
I
was on
love
the
the
way to a wedding,
details,
great wedding.
personal details, personal touch.
Yeah.
I was a groomsman. It was a great wedding. One of my great friends
Yeah.
that
That's great.
I actually wrestled with until he decided he didn't want to wrestle anymore.
Well,
But I'm predicting Taylor continues. I hope he continues to wrestle a few more years after this. I know that he's kind of mulled around the idea of retiring. Um, it's hopefully not the way it's going to go. Would love to see him win gold over Yazdani for a few more years.
yeah, Yazdani's younger than him.
92 kilos. Zahid Valencia is the 7 seed for Team USA. Gonna be interesting. This is his first spot at the Worlds. For those who you don't know, he was battling it out at 86 kilos. Didn't get the spot, so he decided, let me just go up a weight class and take the spot there.
And he beat returning world silver medalist Jaden Cox. Oh no, that's not true. Jaden Cox was going up a weight class and got injured before.
Jaden Cox has been terribly unlucky.
I just feel like anytime Jaden Cox doesn't wrestle, it's because he missed weight.
Well, I saw him weigh in at Final X on crutches. He made weight, but he was apparently nursing an ankle injury. So,
I hate to see it. I mean, Zahid's a dangerous guy. You got the reigning world bronze medalist in this weight class, the 1 seed from Georgia. But and the 2 seed is also a reigning world bronze.
Yeah,
But
the reigning
Zahid's
world
just
champ from Iran, Gasampur, I'm not sure if he was listed. He wasn't seeded if he is listed, but
and you also have Matt Feinsilver of Israel in there as well.
wrestled for what, Duke?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Love
So
to see the representation.
yeah, I'd love to see that. But
I
I
don't know
think
how I feel about it.
Zahid can go far in this. I think he's definitely talented enough, even though he went up a weight class. He toyed with Mike Machiavello at Final X.
Yeah, he
Granted,
did.
Mike Machiavello, he hasn't really had much of a international
Yeah,
pedigree himself, but uh, Zahid's definitely talented enough to do some damage.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zahid's gonna probably get a bronze for sure. Beyond that, I mean, he's got a kind of tougher road. He's got to go through that world bronze medalist just in the quarters. So he's going to be tested with one of the better guys in the weight right out the gate. So I think he'll find his way to the podium. I'm not sure how high up onto it he'll get.
I have several things about this. First, I don't know if I love USA wrestlers wrestling for other countries. Sometimes I'm like super in favor of it. I'm like, yeah, like Team USA versus the world, baby. Like keep, expanding that empire into other countries. Then other times I'm like, I kind of would rather have like a super powered Team USA where like the best just keep helping each other out.
Well, I mean, the Fine Silver trains at I think Cliff Keen Athletic Club,
Yeah,
so he's training with USA.
Cliff Keen has like 6 guys wrestling senior worlds, and only one of them is an American
Yeah, only one. Yeah, only one for USA, and that's Mason Paris.
who wasn't even the original guy.
Yeah, exactly. So they almost had 5 guys in 5 different countries.
All Americans training for other countries. So I'm like, what the heck? Like, why are we donating our resources to that? That was my
I don't
first
think
like,
Israel would have a guy if it wasn't for Fine Silver.
no, probably not.
So
Same
like,
with San Marino.
Yeah,
yeah, like
I didn't know San Marino was a country up until Miles Amin was like, I'm gonna wrestle for them. Apparently, it's a very small country, and I also
It
don't know
is.
anything about geography. So I'm an American. That's part of my thing. The next thing is, I still can't believe Aaron Brooks didn't go 92 kilos.
oh yeah, yeah. I think he would have been better off.
That blows my mind. Or Aaron Brooks, who ended up putting the screws to Zahid, lost in 2 straight to David Taylor at 86. Like, he could have just gone up to 92, won the spot, and possibly placed at this weight class. Like, same bronze that we think Zahid could have gotten. And it would have helped Aaron Brooks because he's going up to 197 this year anyway. It's like
Yeah, he really
5 pound
didn't think
difference.
that through, did he?
No, that was a huge Nittany Lion overstatement. Like, they completely misread the situation.
Yeah, let's put Brooks on Taylor
I
instead
think
of
that
Brooks on Machiavello.
I think Brooks thought he could probably take him.
He probably
Yeah,
did.
he clearly did.
But
Yeah.
like, why push Taylor out of a spot when you could have 2 guys make the team? Especially if Aaron Brooks is going 197, 92 kilos is 203 pounds.
Right.
Like, that's the growth you want instead of having to cut down 86 to regrow yourself to 197 for the season. Just go down 5 pounds. It's a water cut for the day, and you have, you're fine. But
It wasn't
that's it.
the best plan.
That's my soapbox there. I still think Zahid's athletic enough that he should be able to place pretty deep here. I hate his like kind of stalling tactic where he just like goes on his knees, and that annoys the heck out of me because I'm like, dude, get up and wrestle. And if you
Scores
watch,
points and then let's coast.
yeah, he shuts it down way quick. If you watch like his Aaron Brooks match, like there's a bunch of times where Aaron was trying to like pick him up off the ground from just like grounding himself on his knees in the middle of the mat, and I was like, that's such baloney. But now that he's representing Team USA, I hope it works out and other guys can't score him that way.
I think Zahid has the potential to win it.
Yeah.
Throw that out there.
I wouldn't be like shocked if it happened.
Yeah, there's 92's been kind of weak the last few years, I feel like.
I mean, Jaden took second silver like last year.
Yeah,
So,
but
like,
Jaden doesn't
do you
dunk
think
much.
Zahid could have beaten Jaden Cox? Like, if
Well,
yes, then
Yeah,
it's just
I don't know.
completely different styles. It's so hard
yeah.
to.
Jaden hasn't like super impressed me in a few years. I just feel like he's been so focused on the 97 kilo thing. Um,
Well, I mean, I feel like Cox on Snyder has been hyped up like Yazdani on.
yeah,
Like it's a great rivalry. It's like, has Cox even beaten him since post college, like, or since college or before college? I mean, yeah.
Well, speaking of 97 kilos, Kyle Snyder is the man, the sole #1 seed for Team USA.
this is probably my
Rightfully
easiest one.
so. Um, Reigning world champion, 2016 Olympic gold medalist, ton of accolades for Kyle Snyder. It's going to be interesting, especially with the Sajilev. There's definitely a story there. Let you guys kind of talk about that.
Yeah. Um, I think this is the easiest weight class for me to predict. If Sedulev's in, then Kyle takes second. If he's not, Kyle takes gold.
Well,
I mean,
depends on where in the bracket he is,
Matt, yeah, jeez, yeah.
because that could be an early round match, and if he doesn't beat him, he's
All right,
going to
so
go from
Kyle,
getting gold to bronze. Like,
yeah, that's true.
but I mean, it's not a foregone conclusion. The last time they wrestled, he was 6'3".
Yeah,
So
but Kyle can't seem to close the gap. The only time he beat him was when he was coming up from like 86 kilos.
yeah,
I mean, that was 86 to 97 kilo was a huge difference.
yeah.
And that's literally the only loss on Sajalab's international career.
So
It's
where is
like
it current?
that women's wrestler Susaki.
Yeah,
only international gold in any competition.
I mean, as much as I don't want to admit it because he's not an American, he's probably the greatest freestyle wrestler of all time. And him being barred from Worlds for the last 2 years, um, or last year at least, possibly this year as well, has really continued to taint his legacy. Where this guy was like probably going to win last year, and probably would win this year as well.
Well,
So
I
where
mean,
is it?
he still might be in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
where does it currently stand? Is he in right now? Today's Tuesday. Is he in
they're
or is he
in
out?
for they're in for now, but
They're
nothing's
in for
final.
now, but
Nothing's
that
final
could
till
change.
Friday. Sadulayev is was out for a different reason than Sidakov. Um, they wouldn't say it was military affiliation or anything. They would say they said it's another geopolitical issue. Um,
So that could be anything.
but they made it sound very serious that he would be out, and like likeliness of him being out would be pretty high. We're obviously not going to know till Friday till the brackets release, and UWW Wrestling said the same thing. Like, we won't know if he's in till he's in, and we won't know if he's out till he's out. But
Yeah.
I feel like we also can't look past Magomedov. He's a great wrestler. He's very solid. I think he'll be if Kyle Snyder meets Sajalayev in the finals, I think Magomedov is going to be a tough semi for either of them.
Well, I don't know. The last time, last year at the Worlds, Snyder teched him.
Yeah,
10
but
zip.
I feel like freestyle is so crazy like that where you could have a close match one year and then a tech the next year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I
so
mean,
true.
is Mohammedian back? I mean, he usually has close matches with Snyder.
I'm not sure. I got to look at all the entries. This whole
I
is
mean,
he
yeah,
out?
we're only really focused in on the seeded guys. We didn't look at the whole entry list. So that's why we're not as familiar with the entire list of guys. But
Plus, like even UWW is not familiar with the whole list of guys because there's so much. Is he in? Is he out?
yeah,
Um, I'm gonna go with my original statement. If Sajalayev's in, Snyder's probably looking at silver, assuming they meet later. If Sajalayev is out, I feel like Kyle will coast to another world championship and have back-to-back world titles for the first time in a while.
yeah. I mean, I think that's probably pretty accurate. He's going to get first if Sigilai is out, and if he's in, then he's going to get silver or bronze depending on when he meets him.
Yeah.
So we got one more weight class, 125 kilos. I think on behalf of the entire world's, no, on behalf of Gable Steveson, the entire world can say thank you. I don't know if I have that right or not, but whatever.
Okay.
You get what I mean.
We know what you mean.
Gable's out. Mason Paris is in though, And Mason Paris, I mean, he's done well at the international scene. He's on the top of his game. Will he do as well as Gable would have done? I don't think so.
I don't
But
think so.
I think he could be a dark horse for a medalist.
So you think
He
he's
got
better
some,
than Hayden Zilmer last year?
yes, I
Yes.
think he'll do better than Hayden Zilmer last year. But I mean, you got some hammers in this. Ackle, Petria Shveli.
Just call him Gino.
Yeah.
Gino.
I mean, these are
We're good friends.
Yeah, Munkter.
Yeah, these are some hammers. I mean, Olympic gold
Zaire.
medalist, Olympic silver.
Although Mason Paris did pin Zaire in the Junior World Finals like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
A
little bit's changed since then.
But when they were youngins,
back before there was a push-out rule.
Yeah. Back in the junior world scene, yes, Zaire lost to Paris. So, I mean, at least confidence-wise, I feel like that should help Paris going into this tournament.
I think it also depends on what, like, he's unseeded. It depends on where he's going to land in the bracket, who he's got first rounds. Hopefully, he does have Zaire, who's the 5 seed.
I don't know about hopefully.
I wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't hope for that. I mean, yeah, maybe he could pull off that upset, but then again, Zaire is an Olympic bronze medalist.
Oh, I'm sorry. You said Zaire pinned Paris?
No, Paris pinned Zaire.
Yeah, so you could do it again. What do you mean? Come on.
That was like 4 years ago. I mean, that's like saying I pinned a guy in high school and then as college seniors.
It's all about mental strength, baby.
I mean, I think the best Paris is going to do is bronze. If that, I think most likely he'll fall short of that.
I think he'll make a bronze match and take 5th.
Yeah, I think that's most likely his path.
I mean, yeah, Zaire won. Even though Paris pinned him when they were younger, Zaire won a world championship in 2021.
Yep, and he's got an Olympic bronze medal. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's a stacked weight class.
This guy's good. Like that guy. Zaire's in the contention to in the talks to win it with Akgul and Petriashvili.
I have a hot take about this actually. So Gable, from all I've seen, decided not to enter on his own. You know, he had his free will to choose not to go to Worlds. I almost wonder if he felt not confident in his abilities to win this bracket.
I don't think so. I think this guy, he's got the biggest ego in the world, this guy.
I know, and then he's afraid to lose after building up an ego like that.
Because it was Petriashvili that he had in the finals.
Gable, look.
Who should have lost the match because the way freestyle rules work, it shouldn't.
You're not allowed to cut.
Yeah. That he shouldn't have been allowed to do what he did to get the last takedown.
Exactly. Gable should have lost that match. And as much as I hate to admit that, he knows, and we all know now, like, Gable went and cut him to the ref, and the ref's like, what the heck's this? And the ref's like, yeah, go back on your feet. And then Petriashvili looked at the ref, and then Gable took him to be like, this is not allowed, and Gable took him down.
Yeah, he kind of
went two, like that. I think that he has been like, hey, I've been half-assed wrestling since then. I've not been training full time like these guys are. These guys know that I kind of snuck one on them. They will never let that happen again. And I think that being the WWE guy he is, it doesn't look good when you're already trying to make your bones and be like, oh yeah, I'll leave. And it's like, oh, how do you do it? It's like, oh, well, I tried my best.
Yeah, I went out for the Worlds. I thought I was going to win, but I didn't.
So that's my hot take, is that Gable knew he wouldn't win, and that's why he ducked out of the role.
Love it. That is a hot take.
It is.
Yeah, I love that take. I mean, that's very interesting. Like,
I think Gable knows that he's built such an ego. He couldn't handle the loss. That was his defining moment as a wrestler, and he's afraid that if he doesn't do what everyone expects him to do again, which would be incredibly difficult when he's not been training for it, he would fall flat, and it would look very not good for his image as a wrestler in WWE, as a wrestler for Team USA.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
Well, regardless, I mean,
not the champ.
regardless, I think Team USA would love to have him there.
Yeah.
Team
Oh yeah.
wise, that would have been definitely a boost. But hopefully, Mason Paris can do well on his
I
own
mean,
right.
Good
as a
luck, Mason.
whole, I think Team USA is going to do very well.
I think it depends on what happens with the Russian and Belarus athletes. If they end up missing some guys, I think it just elevates Team USA even further. But as Jack said earlier, like, this is the worlds. You want to be the
Yeah, you
best, you
want
got
the
to beat the
best
best.
competition out there, especially if they want to compete.
Exactly. So
Exactly.
it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next few days.
So there you guys have it. That is your men's freestyle preview for the 2023 World Championships. Drop a comment down below. Is Gable scared?
Yes, we want to know that. Tell
Hot
us.
take. Yeah,
Hot
we
takes.
want to hear what you think.
Was Gable scared?
Yeah, and just any thoughts, comments, predictions that you might have. Make sure you hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 1,000. So feel free to share with your friends, family, any fans of wrestling, and make sure you leave a comment down below on your way out.
Thanks for watching. We are Cactus Wrestling, and we'll see you next time on our next video.